Minecraft is an open-world sandbox game where you can do anything you put your mind to, but what if we added over 200 mods and tried to survive with only one life and a dream? Welcome one and all to day 0 to 100 of the Claustica Chronicles. If you're feeling generous, feel free to subscribe as you can depart at any time with all your limbs mostly intact. Also bear in mind, for around the first 5 minutes I was running all of this on a Macbook while streaming live on my Twitch, so some lag may be involved. Without further ado, please enjoy a detailed catalog of my suffering. First day, day 0, we spawned on a little island with nothing but a bunch of books. We randomly found a boat at sea. I don't know who was out there, but they're clearly long gone now. You know, we got wood, made a little boat, we went exploring, found a shipwreck, and then the game decided I didn't deserve to have a boat anymore. So that was great. Found a little wizard library, we got some spells. Right next to that, we found a legendary spider who nearly murdered us. With a bit of luck, we were able to survive our very first day. Day 1, you know, found a giant zombie structure after we woke up. We began on our little skill tree. We found some insane world generation. Truly beautiful. That night, we found a pirate ship and an underwater temple, but, you know, I'm sure we'll get back to this later. And we found another crazy world generation and a Techtopia village. Surely, Techtopia won't come up in the future at all, right? Right? Day 2, opened up, left a loot cache at the first Techtopia village that we would have found this run. We secured a checkpoint waystone, which basically would allow us to teleport here using any other waystone. We found our first gargoyle cathedral, which we snuck into from below, and then we collected a lot of loot from it. We found the very first good sword of the run. We also found an amazing ring that we would use through the entire first 100 days. After that, we went and we embarked off on a little bit of adventuring, but you're not gonna believe this. We found a dragon inside of a desert temple. Well, not really inside, it was more on top, but like, dude, it's a dragon. Start of day 3, we made a brilliant decision to go into that desert temple that had the dragon. We left a pressure plate directly on top of the TNT too. Yeah, I guess the next guy who comes in here is gonna be in a world of hurt. Yikes, I wouldn't want to be that guy. We escaped the dragon successfully and we found our second Techtopia village. We killed a Cyclops somewhat near there, which gave a super invaluable item. Alright, I cannot stress this enough. It gave us a Cyclops eye. And basically what this does is in exchange for its own durability, it gives all hostile mobs weakness. After that, we found a boss Cyclops, and if you haven't gathered yet, bosses are basically the normal mob, except for with added effects and more HP. Basically, if we see these, there's a good chance that it could just kill us outright somehow. We found a dragon, and we ran away. Obviously, I mean, it's a dragon. Are you telling me you'd go fight it? I didn't think so. We found yet another village. We found a wizard at this village as well. He can trade us for different valuable things. We left another cache of supplies in this village, and we also made sure to gather that checkpoint. Day 4, looked around, did a little bit more exploring, and I think I found the perfect spot to set up a Techtopia village. I mean, just look at this commercial. Sporting flat natural valleys and mountains for natural protection. This property can be yours for $999 plus shipping and handling. Around this area, we also found a wizard tower, a pre-lit portal to the Nether, and of course another gargoyle cathedral. We snuck in, looted the cathedral. We found some god weapons to transfer onto a book later. I think we left a few items at this cathedral. I don't know why. I'll be honest, as of talking about this, I have still not gone back to that cathedral to gather what I left. So yeah, for day 102, we should probably do that. Day 5, wake up, and get ready to get chased by a gargoyle that day. You know, there's nothing more terrifying than a flying iron golem shooting towards you. After a long chase scene, we eventually got away unscathed. You know what else was close? The fight with a dragon I had right after that later that day. A dragon found me, I got chased by it, and then using cowardly strats and poking at it with my big pointy object, I got the first dragon kill of the run. With the spoils of my war against the dragon, I returned home, and I started my pathway to caves. I then went to sleep and, well, the next day I made a pretty bad mistake. So, the next day I was AFK the entire day. Yeah, I forgot to pause, I'll be honest. I hadn't even started the stream, so there's not really any footage here. Yeah. Following that beautiful use of our very limited time, we then continued our pathing into the caves, and we found our very first cave. We then slept to day 8, where we continued our pathway to make sure that we wouldn't die traversing it. And then we made our very first repair station. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a huge thing. The repair station is essentially just a station that you can throw an item into, and it will repair the durability of the item infinitely. Day 9, we explored our little cave, and we found a legendary skeleton. We killed that with a bow. We decided that the lower area of this would become our storage for the run, which is another very important thing that we'll touch on later. Alright, the next day we explored more surrounding cave area, and, you know, I'll be honest here. I'll break the fourth wall. In my notes for this day, I have, and I quote, explored surrounding area, small exploring of cave. I could have been a little more descriptive in explaining all of this. I don't know. I suppose all you really need to know is there was just more basic exploration. Moving on. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say it, but this is where the timeline gets a little bit murky. So as you might notice with the raw footage, there isn't exactly a day timer anywhere on the screen. So as you might imagine, when we go into a cave without a clock in our hotbar, it is a little hard for us to gauge what the actual day is. So given this, we're going to have some estimations, but you're not going to hear me say the day number anymore. Regardless, that day, we did a little bit of cave exploration, and near the storage, there was a creeper and a skeleton. And of course, the creeper, this one's super fast, pretty much just ran in front of the skeleton while the skeleton was shooting. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, so we got our first music disc to run, which is that's pretty insane of a start. After that, we set up our bush farm and we continued to build our storage in the cave, and lots more cave. Found a structure that basically worked as several spawners. I think I know where our EXP farm is going to be, and then we continued to cave through the night. The next day, we did a bit more cave working. We fought and killed a summoner, and it dropped a summoner orb. You might be wondering, what's a summoner orb? And essentially all you need to know is we just got a Pokeball. Yeah, this thing basically, whenever you kill a enemy, it's got a chance to get absorbed into the ball. And then when you let it out, it fights for you. I assure you, this is going to become a very important plot point a little bit later. That night, we then went on to raid a battle tower. Now, if you don't know what a battle tower is, basically, it's a giant tower that you fight up floors for, and there's a boss at the top, and each floor has loot. You battle the tower. Following that, the very next day, we continued to the battle tower. The Guardian, basically, he's got a little thing where he hops up and then blows up the blocks next to and around him. And he just kept doing that until he was deep into the ground. Yeah, he kind of played himself here. He also, amazingly, he's got a huge field of vision. Because even while I was far away, he was like shooting shots at me. This guy should be a sniper. Well, I mean, he should have been a sniper if he was still alive. Which brings us into the next day, where I had captured a spider previously, and oh boy, this poor spider. Go Spider-Mon. Go on, you can do it. Spider-Mon. After the sad loss of our best friend Spider-Mon, we looted the battle tower, we killed the boss, and we looted a few surrounding structures. In one of these, we left a zombie spawner, figuring we could use it for EXP later and, some item grinding, but this would turn out to be a mistake. We then started to collect our class and quest rewards for little coins. These are going to be pretty important later. We can use these to buy waypoints and even an item that is basically Totem of Undying. We then spent a little bit in the caves, because, of course, where else would we be other than the caves? So before I explain what happened during this next day, I need to tell you about an item called the Golden Lasso. You can take any passive mob and move it wherever you want. Using this, I went and saved a wizard from an onslaught of gargoyles from the nearby cathedral. That night, a creeper came by and blew up our house. I guess it happens to everyone, right? Everyone has their house blown up at least once by a creeper. After that, we started to experiment with our spells. It's very important that we find certain spells here for later in the run. In this mod, the more different kinds of foods you eat, the more hearts you get. You can get up to a full second row of hearts just from eating different foods. So I did that, and then in that same mod, you can make seeds, which gives you more coins like we talked about earlier. The next day, we claimed our territory, which basically means that mobs won't be able to blow up our little territory. We were able to do more hunting for quests and more cave exploration. Finally, we set down a waystone to our main village, meaning that we had established communications with other different areas. We looted our old Techtopia village, and we expanded our storage downstairs. We promptly went to sleep, leading into the next day. After waking up, we got straight to work. We went to the same Techtopia village we had just been to, tamed our first horse, killed the dragon, stole all the Techtopia village's stuff, and we found another dragon with a really cool flying pattern. We tried to kill the dragon, but then something a little crazy happened. We had just captured a dragon in our summoner orb. Listen, I cannot explain to you how huge it is. It's a dragon. We just got a dragon in our Pokeball. We have a Charizard. We have a Charizard in Minecraft. This is a little crazy. That night, we then returned to the village. We kidnapped a wizard. We fought off a zombie horde with the help of our dragon, and our dragon had a little bit too much fun. Oh no. Holy shit, he is doing numbers on everything. Actually, please stop. Dude, No, don't fucking... After destroying the village, the dragon decided to promptly fly away back to its nest. We chased after it, eventually recaptured the dragon, and then we went on to kidnap more villagers and rob their entire village. We then returned home, we made a little holding room for all of our NPC friends, and then we returned to the village for more looting. Following that, we returned to that village for more kidnapping. We found our old cache, which means that we had a lot more items to work with. We returned to our holding room, and we went to sleep the night. Very next day, more looting, more kidnapping, and then the day after that, we began making our huge potato farm for the farmer Techtopia villagers. The next day, we finished our farm, we had to fill it with potatoes, and then we slept. Day after that, we made a little doorway. I'm not sure what we were gonna put here, but something to work out of. We began construction for our big tunnel that's gonna lead through the mountain that we're gonna have everyone live in. And then after that, we worked on it for the next 3 days. Yeah, this tunnel took a while. After that, we finally started making the individual rooms for each one of these. Each room can hold up to 6 villagers. If we want a huge community, we're gonna need quite a few of these. The way that the Techtopia mod works makes it so that you can have different buildings for different things. One of the most important things in a village is the storage. That is where your villagers are going to place all of their items when they're either not in use or go when they need items. Due to this, we clearly had to make a storage before we placed villagers. So we went on to make a small storage that we will hopefully expand out in the next 100 days. After finishing our villager storage, we went out to kidnap more villagers, and we made a very basic small building for a town hall. The town hall building doesn't really matter, it's just the thing that gives all the villagers power. The next day, we finally added our farmers to the main village, meaning that Techtopia could finally begin. The potatoes would start being farmed, and we'd start generating basically passive income. After that, we started growing some trees for lumberjacks so we could move them over there, and then we gave villagers a bunch of items. We went back and finally broke the zombie spawner after the lumberjack died, so I told you it would be a mistake. We then explored some caves and went to sleep. Now, to put it simply, whenever a villager does their own work, they produce a product that is green. The text will appear green, and consuming or using that item will bring the villager more happiness. This is why it was so important for me to get my chef to produce green baked potatoes. Now to do this, of course, he would have to use some sort of coal or charcoal of his own creation. So we spent basically this day trying to figure out how we could get the baked potatoes to turn out green. And eventually we got it. Now, the very next day was a little insane, so we went collecting lava and obsidian for another portal. Honestly, reading all this out loud, I've just realized that this was stupid. We had another portal. We could have just used the nether portal next to the wizard tower, but you know, who cares? That's neither here nor there. We got boots with mending 2, that's insane. So whenever you take enchantments from items onto books, they lose 1 level of enchantment. Mending is super rare in this mod pack. So getting mending 2, meaning that we could pull that mending off and use it for anything else, is insane. We got lost in the caves, we found all the obsidian we could ever need, and eventually we made it home. Very next day, we finally built our nether portal at the old zombie spawner location. We kidnapped a bard, and bards basically in Tiktopia, they run around playing music, and that boosts the happiness of other villagers. The happier a villager is, the faster that they will work. The very next day, we made a backpack for another exploration, and we made a storage network. Using this, we could connect a remote, and all of our storage would be in one place. Every single item that we have collected and connected to this network would be in one spot, easily accessed from anywhere in the overworld. We didn't have a remote yet, so that would be the next day. But we then went into the nether, hunted some wither skeletons, trying to eventually summon a wither, and we found a nether battle tower. We left a cache at the very top of it, and then we returned to the overworld and slept. Following the last day, we finally made our storage remote. All the things that we had were now connected to this one little device. We made more living quarters for our villagers, and then we slept. The very next day, we made even more living quarters, and we moved a bard and some guards to the main village. Guards will, of course, defend the main village. After that, we went caving, and the next day, we went and kidnapped more villagers, and we established a second chef. We expanded the farm out even more, so that the farmers could do more work. We made even more living quarters the next day. We trained some guards against zombies. We explored during the nighttime, kidnapped some wizards, and then the next day, we got our Charizard to fight another dragon. Bro, look at this. This is really cool. Okay, they're not fighting each other. Oh yeah, they are. Yo, hype. Now the very next day, we beat another battle tower. We had another dragon battle. Hell yeah, dragon. Get his ass. Bro, look at him. Wombo combo. I got my own Charizard. Then we found out that I could live a fantasy of a younger me. We could ride Charizard. We can fly in the air on our dragon. This was amazing. This was a great discovery, but it didn't come for free. The Summoner Orb, after 120 seconds, summons back whatever mob that is inside the orb. Unknowingly, we glitched essentially the entire game using this. After 120 seconds, our Charizard went back into the Summoner Orb, and since we were in the sky, we fell. In a panic, we dropped the orb, and our dragon just disappeared. We assumed it was in the orb, but then after restarting the game, we found our Summoner Orb, and then we found Charizard dead. The game glitching had killed Charizard. Now, the very next day, we returned to some familiar territory. We found another village, killed a dragon, looted another village, kidnapped a wizard. We can do a lot more looting and kidnapping here with the remote. We found a desert temple with a dragon on top of it. Now, of course, after killing that dragon, clearly we should go explore the desert temple, right? Well, there was one hole in the desert temple. So we jumped down and we landed on a pressure plate. Any of this sound familiar to you? The TNT at the bottom of this desert temple triggered, and we were caught in a massive explosion that we had caused much earlier in the run. We almost died here. If we didn't have all the extra hearts, we would be gone, dead, run over. No video to speak of. I hope that I don't do anything like this again. After that tragedy, we found a tribe inside of a village. Basically, there's a modded structure that has a boss in it called a Sun Chief. And that Sun Chief has a bunch of other tribe members that you can summon. And all these guys spawned inside a Techtopia village. This was one of the strangest things I had ever seen. And I've been playing this for a while. The next day, we returned to the Nether and we collected our loot from the Nether cache that we deposited much earlier. And then we, you know, at this time, we thought that Charizard might just be sleeping. So we were just carrying around the dead corpse of Charizard. Yeah, we renamed the dead corpse of Charizard into Charizard. So, yeah, it's, yeah, that's a bit awkward. The next day, we discovered a few more spells, bought a Charm of Life, which is basically just a Totem of Undying. Day after that, we made an XP storage just to handle our levels. Now, this is the part that made me a bit nervous. We had a Necromancer spawn somewhere. A Necromancer basically just runs around and summons a bunch of zombies. It's supposed to be a thing that kills a lot of your villagers. This was just somewhere. Yeah, we didn't find this for a while. That night, we found a zombie villager spawner. We lit it up and we saved it, and it's still there. Yeah, well, I should probably do something with that soon. Very next day, we defeated a wizard altar, which is basically just a chest that is guarded by magic. When you get near it, it will summon a bunch of evil wizards that will try to kill you. So that was easy. The very next day, we did something stupid. We went into a structure that I knew had a mob called a Medusa. Basically, if you look into Medusa's eyes, she will turn you to stone. If a Medusa gets me, no matter what kind of Totem of Undying items I have, I will die. This will kill me no matter what if I look into its eyes. This was a scary fight. Eventually, I ended up victorious. Dumbass. And I took Medusa's head as a trophy. Now, this item basically takes a little bit of time, but if you get to use it successfully, it turns whatever you're looking at instantly to stone. Now, it only works once, so I don't think I'll ever be using it. This was kind of dumb to do, but at least I can say I did it. I then took it upon myself to pirate some pirates.
That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen. So it would seem.
After making the pirates ship themselves, we found a giant brick in the sky. I don't know what the World Gen was thinking this day, but kind of weird. That night, we then hunted down another Sun Chief and looted their tribe, and that bled into the next day. We burned and looted another ship, kidnapped a hippocampus, which is basically a horse to the sea. We did some more exploration. We killed yet another Sun Chief. These things are everywhere. And then we burned and looted another ship that night. We're going to be burning a lot. The next day, we followed up with some more exploration. We found another sand temple, this time one that didn't blow up on us. We found another Techtopia village nearby. We looted that, kidnapped more villagers. We went to a swamp and made some kind of talisman. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. And that next day, we found a cathedral next to a village with 3 Cyclops. This is a bit interesting. On our feed, we could see that the Cyclopses were killing the villagers. But, of course, there's a cathedral, which is, as you might know, it's got a lot of good loot. So, naturally, being a greedy man, I went into the cathedral, I stole the loot, and while I was in there, my horse got killed by the gargoyles. But in the cathedral, we picked up 2 items called Phoenix Vials, which are basically just Totems of Undying again. We finally found the village that all the Cyclopses were at, and we managed to kill one, but the other 2 were just missing. My assumption is that the gargoyles killed him at some point, but I don't really have proof of that. After returning home, we finally accepted the death of our good friend Charizard. But besides that, we finally were doing a little bit of, we were doing some exploration underground, you know, as one does. And we heard a lot of zombie noises. So following up that area, we searched around, and lo and behold, we found the Necromancer. And we finally killed him and his entire army. Thank goodness, finally. We did a little bit of cave exploration, and we expanded our storage. This would be the last bit of progress we'd get done for the next few days. Because the next 2 days, I would be in a VC call with my friend in stream, and the two of us would literally just do commentary. I got no work done for 2 more whole days. This is 3 days wasted on nothing. The night after we had gotten done messing around with Justice for our wasted 2 days, I would then cause a zombie invasion by accident. Now, you see, the way this works is if there is a zombie spotted at a village, there's a chance that it will cause a zombie invasion, which means basically a bunch of zombies just show up and start killing things. So in my attempts to train my guards, I ended up getting all my guards and clerics killed except for 1. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a lot of kidnapping to make up for these losses. The next day, we went into the Nether to hunt more wither skeletons. We then returned to the surface where we tested more spells, and we maxed out a few of our skill tree items. To just put this quickly, we maxed out our Iron Skin, which makes it so that we take less damage from attacks, our Sneak, which means that mobs don't detect us as easily, our Random Crits, which means that every attack that we make has a random chance to do crazy amounts of damage, and our Sneak Attack, which means whenever we attack a mob that doesn't know we're there, we'll do more damage, even if it's with a ranged attack. We then returned back to the Nether, farmed more wither skeletons, and then we returned just to drop off more things, and then went back to the Nether, and then returned, but this time it was a little bit different. We had collected all the materials we needed to summon a wither. So we got far away, and we summoned the wither. After killing the wither, we used its nether scar to basically craft the most insane item of the run, the Illuminati pet. Now for 1 emerald nugget, this thing will give us 1 random item. This works every 2 minutes. It'll give us a random item, completely randomized from any mod that we have. This could mean that we get either the most insane OP weapon, or we get a block of dirt. Now, the day after we killed the wither, we went exploring. From killing the wither for the first time, we got 2 mystery blocks. One of those shot me into the air and tried to make me play Skyblock.
Alright.
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh no! You gotta play Skyblock!
After gliding away, we managed to take down a battle tower. Lower into the battle tower, it was merged with the dungeon. We went and explored this dungeon a bit, but this is where we encountered our first ever blood moon. During a blood moon, spawn rates are increased, mobs can find you from further away, and all mobs are more powerful. You can't sleep through the night either. This night could be the most dangerous thing in the entire mod pack. It's honestly, I think, the scariest thing we've got. Now, you remember the Cyclops eye that I told you about earlier? The thing that's been in like all the footage up till now? The item that gives all aggressive mobs near us weakness? Yeah, the one that was keeping us alive, obviously. So, like I told you, in exchange for durability, it will give other mobs weakness. Now, of course, we were stuck here in this dungeon for a while, and I wasn't paying attention. So the very next day, my Cyclops eye broke. One of the things keeping us alive this entire time just broke, and I didn't even notice until we got out of the dungeon. Eventually, I had to run away. There were way too many things in here from the Blood Moon, and I had to get to the top. Eventually, I escaped to the surface. I went to a Techtopia village. I found a witch hut, which had so many potions. There were so many potions. I still don't remember what I had to this day, but there were a lot. And then we found yet another village that night. The next day, we killed a dragon, we found a cathedral, and we looted that, and then we got a backfire cannon. The backfire cannon is one of the craziest mobility tools we can have. Basically, you shoot this in a direction, and you get launched in the opposite direction that you are aiming. Now, imagine what would happen if you just shot this several times straight down. That's right, we had achieved flight. Using this, we flew across, found a desert temple, and found a village. That next day, we did a bit more exploring using our newfound backfire cannon and glider combo, meaning that we could just, kind of blast in the sky and then glide wherever we wanted. We found another desert temple, found another village, We went home, made some repairs, more exploring during the nighttime, and we found our first siren encounter. Now, sirens are a little terrifying mob. Scarier than dragons, I'd even say. What sirens do is they have a little rock that they spawn on that comes out of the sea. And you ever heard the tale about sailors getting drawn from their singing? That's what they do. If you get close enough, you begin to hear their singing, and it begins to move your character towards them. You get dragged towards them. The closer you are, the stronger the pull is. Yeah, this was terrifying. Next day, we killed Cyclops, did more wizard kidnappings, killed a dragon, we looted the clouds now that we could go up and reach them, and then we burned and looted another ship.
Captain!
Yeah?
Oh, fuck! No! Dude, we have so much shit to go! Holy fucking shit! Go! Connor, get down there! Connor, go! Oh, fucking shit! Stop freaking! Holy fuck! Oh. Hey, guys!
At night, we looted a cathedral nearby, and then we fled from that cathedral. Yeah, we weren't alone, though. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Bruh, that's crazy. After escaping the swarm of gargoyles, we finally went and did more exploring. We kidnapped another wizard, looted another cathedral, and we just didn't learn our lesson from last time. And when it comes to nostalgia... Dude, Jesus Christ. Oh, no! Oh, we're out. Oh, we are so out. Oh, fuck. The very next day, we found two cathedrals that were right next to each other. Now, this would mean that there would be double loot, but also double the risk, because there would be twice as many gargoyles right above our heads at all times. And gargoyles kind of have this little hive mind. If one of them gets hit, like all of them know it, as you probably saw from the last two swarms that I just got chased off by. Now, of course, to counteract this, I took my right as an American. I made a gun. Using this gun, I then looted another cathedral that night and burned and looted a ship. The next day, we had to return to home base, expand our storage because we were running out pretty quickly, and then we had to discover more spell slots. Next day, I forgot. So, essentially, the joke that I had was I had my gun in my offhand, and I accidentally shot it while going for the remote so that I could get something out of my storage. And that was in the village, using seeking bullets that will find targets themselves. 3 villagers died that day. We replaced those villagers, we built our barracks, which is a specialized building that guards can go and sleep in and train in, and we started working on our pathing, just to make things look a little prettier. The next day, we discovered how to travel in luxury. Look at this.
Amazing.
This is luxury living.
Amazing.
Bro gets to lay down while he travels.
Hello. After that amazing trip, we did a little bit more pathing at the village. Just something to pop out. We'll probably need to do a bit with the lights later on. Next day, I decided I was going to make my little shack into more of an industrial building. Now, days 99 and day 100 were more setup for the next 100 days to come. We had already made a pretty solid base here with our village, and lots of progress had been done. We had created an entire storage network, we'd killed quite a few dragons, kidnapped a lot of people, and it was all leading up to an amazing next 100 days. We basically spent the time excavating for more buildings for the main village. We're working on a library right now. I hope you'll join me for days 101 to 200. Hey there, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope at this point I've been able to entertain you enough to convince you to subscribe. We're almost at 223 subscribers, so any help would be appreciated. Below is a video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy, so if you like hearing my voice, feel free to give that a watch. This has been Claustica, and I'll be seeing you next time.